All right. Hello and welcome everybody to Amateur Radio Roundtable. This is a show about ham radio, shortwave, and electronics, and all the kind of things in between there. And Brett, I think we're getting a little feedback from you. Glenn is muted, but for some reason I'm hearing some feedback tonight. So you can
still
just
buffering a little bit.
Yeah, you can just mute when you're not talking here. All right. Well, again, welcome to Amateur Radio Roundtable, guys. Hey, boy, I'm excited. Great show coming up tonight. We got several things we want to talk about tonight. And let's see. Oh man, what do I want to talk about? Well, first of all, please hit the subscribe button and the like button and the notify button. It really helps us out if you'll do that. That subscribe button should be right down there in that lower right-hand corner somewhere. I should be helping you out right there, kind of giving you a hint of where that subscribe button might be. Please hit that. Also, if you will, join our Facebook group. Our Facebook group is called W5KUB. We've got about 14 to 15,000 members in that group. It's a pretty good sized group and a lot of great people in there. We've never had any trouble in there. And just join it. That's not my personal page, guys. A lot of people, let me just say this about personal Facebook. I do have a personal Facebook page. A lot of people ask me to be their friend, and I don't become their friend on Facebook. I keep it kind of for family. I bet you I don't have more than 15 people probably in my personal Facebook. So if you really want to get in touch with me, I'm always on the W5KUB Facebook group. So you can always find me there, always get in touch with me there. You can follow what I'm doing there. I hardly ever post in the personal Facebook group. So don't feel rejected or bad if I don't approve you as a friend, because all you guys are my friends. It's just I don't use the personal Facebook group. Now, with that said, I'm kind of off track and I don't know where I was. We're on WBCQ radio, shortwave radio, WBCQ up in Monticello, Maine on 7490. And you might be listening to us on shortwave. On shortwave, you're hearing our show on Thursday afternoon between 5 and 7 p.m. Our live show, our live video show and chat room is on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And you can just go to w5kub.com and you can find us there. And we'd love to have you there. Hey, I want to mention to you just another thing. We're on just about every podcast carrier out there. We're on iTunes, Google Play, iNet Radio, Tumblr. We're on all these out there. And I'm going to talk a little about this in a minute. We've been on, we were requested to get on to a audio podcast here about 7 years ago and didn't know what we were doing, but we were successful and we got on, and we've been posting every episode of our show on it every week. I just saw a note on our podcast this week. We've got almost 300 weekly shows on our podcast. And while I'm at it, let me just show you what the podcast looks like. Let me see. I can bring it up there. If you go to our site there, if you go to our podcast or click on our podcast link, it'll bring up all the shows, and you'll notice every week we have our show is posted every single week, and we've had right at 100,000 downloads, which I think is pretty good. Now the download is not all the people that have listen to us. You can, if you just click on the link there, you can listen to the show without downloading it. So probably a lot of people do listen to the show. They don't have to download it, but you can download it and play it later if you want to. But almost 100,000 downloads there. Let's see. I talked about our Facebook group, W5KUB. We'd love to have you. We'll approve you as soon as you join there. Click the subscribe button. That'll help us out a whole lot there. We've talked about our radio. Let's see, what else we got to talk about here tonight? Hey, tonight, you may wonder why we're back on the W5KUB chat room. And I'm going to go over that with you tonight. I'm going to tell you a lot of reasons we're on it and why we like it and why we dislike the YouTube chat room. We'll tell you about that. Yeah, we've been talking about 6 meters a little bit. We're going to talk about tonight. I got a little short video and some pictures. We decided to go with a halfway vertical antenna, a coaxial vertical antenna, and we built that and got it up in a tree about 60 or 70 feet out there. We'll talk a little about that. I want to talk about some Hamfests coming up. A lot of Hamfests coming up. We're going to talk about that in a little while. So let's see. Let's go around the room here and see what's going on. It looks like Brett is up first. He's the one showing on the screen here. So Brett, come on in here, man. How you doing? And what are you doing out there?
Well, it's very windy in Laramie, Wyoming, so I tried to get up on the roof and came down real quick because it was southeast Wyoming is having major, like 40, 50 mile per hour gusts. So wait for fill day. The club here is really ambitious. Normally they run just 1 or 2 operating positions. This year they want to be 3A, and apparently if they do that, the field day rules say that they get a free VHF station, and so they're going to put that on the air too. So I'm going to be helping build antennas and do all sorts of things like that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah,
okay. Your audio cleared up at first? At first you were kind of talking like this right here, but I understood everything you were saying.
Good. Okay, yes. Well, Windows sometimes goes bananas on you. It was taking up all of my CPU. I'm not surprised that I had trouble.
Yeah.
I shut a bunch of things down, and it came back.
I think a project we should have on the show here is to create a new operating system to replace Windows. Make it free. Make it load in like 2.3 seconds. And just build all the nice stuff into it. But maybe Glenn can help us build that with, maybe it had a little Arduino attachment or something. I don't know.
Well, I think somebody may have beat us to that. They call it Linux.
Yeah. Well.
And it's free, and it works, and it's solid, and it's stable, and it's very virus resistant. It's everything Windows isn't.
Yeah. Well.
And yet still run Windows.
Yeah, I loaded that on a couple of my laptops here and playing with it, and hey, it works pretty good. I mean, like you say, it is free, and it's good.
Yeah, well, all of my servers run a different operating system, which is called FreeBSD, which runs really well too. But you can't run Zoom on it, and so for this, I've got to use Windows, unfortunately.
Yeah, I guess so. We're probably gonna be stuck with it a while. Now, I'm thinking that even though Bill Gates is kind of retired, he's still pulling all the strings, right? So I think he's probably got a couple things in mind here. I'm seeing that maybe in a year, he's going to try to make you buy a license and pay every year to use Windows or something. And I saw where one of the updates is going to encrypt everything on your computer. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't. They're saying my audio's a little hot, Tom, but no, I haven't seen that one, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. So what I'm reading about Windows, what I saw is breaking news basically is they're going to come out with a patch here pretty soon that will encrypt everything on your computer. Windows will encrypt everything on your computer. Now, if you have a Windows Microsoft account, you can go to your account and you can get a key. You can get a key back to unencrypt or disable it, if you don't want it. But they're going to encrypt all your data. So I'm not sure.
You laugh at me when I'm still running Windows 7. There are reasons I do what I do.
Yeah.
I'm running Windows 7.
I'm not sure, but I think at some point that's going to stop working.
It probably is. I'm in the process. I mean, I am. When we get around to what I'm got going on, you'll figure it all out.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Glenn, you've been working on your books this week?
No, I have not. Waiting for the one from ARRL to come out, but with their current issues, that's probably going to be delayed a little bit.
Yeah.
But I am supposed to be talking with Elector, ARRL, and even a couple other folks about some other projects here in the next week or so. I did get my beams realigned. Had a friend come over and climb the tower for me and get the HF beam set straight. And I also restrung the cobweb, got it back on the air this afternoon. So,
Well, that's great, man.
so I've got my antennas up. The next thing, of course, is checking the wiring in the shack because I've got rid of rigs and I've added 3 new rigs. So
yeah.
I've got the 101 MP, I've got the 9700 and a 991A, in addition to my my VHF, UHF stuff.
Well, you're doing a whole lot better than me. I usually don't get rid of old rigs. That's my problem, man.
I don't have enough space.
Yeah, I've run out of space. I even at the workbench, I don't have a place to put anything,
But the good news is all of the major housework is done. I've got some odds and ends, but getting the cobweb restrung and tuned this afternoon was pretty much it. Now it's down to cleaning the inside and stuff. So progressing right along, and that's when I start talking to book folks and projects and start cranking that up again now that I've got all of the house stuff caught up.
Yep. Okay. Well, good. Man, I'm getting in. I'm getting in the mood for Hamfest. I've got 3 Hamfests lined up here, Glenn.
Which 3 do you have lined up? Because I don't have anything until.
I'm going, man. I'm working on the hotels now. I'm going to Nashville.
When is Nashville?
Nashville is going to be July 20th.
All right. Well, I've got to.
I'm going to Huntsville, the 17th and 18th of August.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing a forum there.
And then from there, we're driving over to our home in North Carolina. And then a week later, I'm going to the Shelby Hamfest.
Oh, I've heard about that one.
That looks like a big Hamfest, man. It looks
I've
big.
heard about Shelby for years and years and just never went.
Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah.
What?
So I've got a couple pictures and flyers. We'll talk about that in a little while. But man, I mean, it looks nice. I mean, it kind of reminds me. The picture kind of reminds me of Dayton, there at Hara.
Yeah, I have not been to, Carolinas in years, so that could be a fun road trip.
Yeah, it's a long way. It's 630 miles over there. So. But we'll break it up. We're going to go to our home. We'll stay, a week or 2 over there, and then from there it's only 130 miles. So,
yeah,
we'll make that. Okay, looking real forward to it. Hey, so I'm just reading the chat here. I see Terry in here, K5TGM. Terry just had his last cataract surgery today. Left eye's healing now. Let me tell you, Terry, I had it done, and oh man, I wish I had it done years ago. But let me tell you guys, I was always afraid of sharp objects around my eyes. I didn't like scalpels or needles, and I kept putting it off. What was it?
Or lasers. I just have.
I kept putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. And let me tell you, it hit home when I had an eye. I thought, in the shack here, I've got really nice, bright 6500K lights. This place is lit up. The place was starting to get dim. The walls that were looking dingy. I was having trouble seeing little things. I had a monitor that looked washed out and brown, and I was about to buy a new monitor. So I finally bit the bullet and went and had the cataract surgery done. And man, everything is so bright now. There's colors. I don't need a new monitor. It looks brand new. Man, and my eyesight basically has gone 20/20. I don't wear glasses anymore. I can read the smallest print now. Now, I paid extra to upgrade. When you get my age, Medicare will pay for your basic lens, but when you get the basic lens, you probably will still have to wear reading glasses if you want to read, because your basic lens just doesn't fix everything. My doctor, I put the upgrade lens in, and this is a good story for all us old hams, because many of us hams are getting old, man, and believe me, listen to an expert here. So I paid extra to have upgraded eyes, and he put 2 different lenses in. This lens in the right eye, I think this lens in the right eye is for this distance, and this lens in the left eye is for this distance. And the brain, and he told me, he said the brain will pull those together.
Yeah, they tried that with me in contacts some years ago, and it didn't really work out well for me because they couldn't figure out which of my eyes was dominant.
Well, yeah.
But
was yours cataract or was yours something else? You know, people can have astigmatism and other things.
Mine's astigmatism and nearsightedness. But as I've gotten older, and a gentleman in Orlando at my forum there, who was actually an eye doctor, explained it to me, and that is my prescription keeps getting better every year.
Yeah,
and, he said basically that is part of cataracts forming that's causing that. He says, but it's actually beneficial for you at this stage. At some point, I'm going to need the cataract surgery as well. But in the meantime, my prescription's gone from like a minus 4.5 to a minus 1.75 in 10 years.
Well, I wore glasses for like 35 years. I still walk around today, Glenn, and I'll be in a shop or something out there, and I'll reach up here to push my glasses up, you know, like, but they're not there, man. They're not there. And
you can see it. I generally don't use them for the computer, but I do use them when I'm out and about most of the time. Yeah.
So, hey, all you old hams out there, get it done, man. It is so good. You'll enjoy it there, and I just wanted to say that as a public service announcement to you guys. You know, it's worked out good for me. Yeah. Medicare will cover, well, yeah, this cataract surgery. Medicare will cover cataract surgery, but they'll just put in the basic lens. They'll put in the basic lens. After you take the cataract out, you got to put lens in. And they'll pay for the basic. Now, like I mentioned, if you get the basic done, you're going to see great, but you might still need reading glasses to read. But I paid extra for the upgrade in Medicare. Doesn't pay for the upgrade. They'll pay for the basic price, but they don't pay for the upgrade. I paid the upgrade.
Do we hear that $6 million man music every time you focus on something?
That's right, man. The bionic eyes, man. So, yes, Medicare will pay for your cataract surgery, and you know, that's good. And let me tell you, it was nothing, man. No pain. You feel no pain. You feel no problem. You go in there and have it done. You're out in 30 minutes. And when I left having the eye done, we went straight to a restaurant. I went in, we ordered. I had lunch. You know, I was seeing out of the eye when I left. Now that night was a different story. It had some swelling, and I thought I was going blind in the eye. But the next day, the doctor did stick a needle in there, and he brought the swelling down, and it was back to normal. I'm playing with you guys now, but hey, all I can say, it was good. It was real good.
My dad had that with hip surgery. He'd played tennis all his life, and of course, hated doctors and needles and stuff. And finally, he had no choice. And at like age 82, he got the hip surgery, and he said, "Why did I wait so long? It was the best thing that ever happened to me."
Yeah.
Yeah. Same thing with the cataracts. I'm kind of like, whenever, but my doctor keeps saying, "Nope, you're fine. You don't need it yet. You're good." And really, that's true. My night vision's down a little bit, but not bad.
Yeah.
So I'm okay for now.
It was getting, Glenn, where I'd be driving down the street. You know, the green street signs over the street?
Yeah.
I could see the sign, but I couldn't see any writing on them for some reason.
Right.
It was like the writing was blending in with the sign. I thought, well, maybe the sun's behind it, but hey, now I see the writing on it. The thing that made me go get my eyes done, I want to tell you what it was. I had my checkup, my 6-month checkup, whatever it was. And my eye doctor told me, he says, "Tom," he says, "I've done about all I can do for you." He said, "I don't even know if you'd pass the driving test, the eye test on the driver's license, if you went and took it right now." And I go, whoa, man. And that hit home, and I thought, hey, if I'm going to operate ham radio mobile, I need to be driving around.
That's true.
So, it ain't no fun just sitting in a driveway mobiling. You got to be mobiling.
That's right.
All right.
I mean, I had so much fun doing that, live webcast on the way to and from Dayton, you know. So, that was mobile in a different form, but yeah, it was, I don't know what I'd do if I couldn't see that well.
Yeah. Hey guys, okay, I'm going to change the subject here. We've talked enough about eyes.
Yeah, let's get back to ham radio stuff.
Yeah, let's talk to ham radio. All right, I got something going right here. I want you to see. I'm going to throw it out here. Let me see if I can bring it in here on the camera. Bippity boppity boom. Okay. All right. Here we go. All right, guys. You see this little box right here? This little box. It's a neat little metal box.
Says Swain Wealth Partners. Okay, we're all going to get rich from this, right?
Well, let me tell you. And I've got 2 of these boxes, and I've got a project coming up I'm going to talk about. So, yeah, if you invest all your money with this guy, everybody needs to be investing their money for their future, but if you invest all your money with these wealth guys here, once a year, they'll send you this little bitty box here with some chocolate in it. And that's what you get. You get this little bitty box of chocolate.
What does chocolate have to do with ham radio?
What now?
What does chocolate have to do with ham radio?
Well, you eat the chocolate, and then you
have all this sugar energy to build
stuff. Then you have this metal box. And ham radio, we like metal. I like metal boxes better than I like plastic boxes. All right, now I want to show you something.
That doesn't look like chocolate.
This is not. You can throw the chocolate away, man. You don't get that much anyway.
Oh, okay. I get this.
All right, so look.
I see like 4 or 5 SO239.
Yeah. Hey guys, look. I started gathering some parts. What I'm going to do for a show project the next couple weeks, I'm going to build a couple bias tees. Now, a lot of people, it's a simple project. A lot of people know what bias tees are. There are probably people watching our show here that don't know what a bias tee is. And let me tell you what a bias tee is. For those that don't know, I put together a little picture here. So a bias tee is a thing that lets you send voltage across your coax. So here's a little picture. You see the little 2, I guess those little brown boxes I've got there with inductor and capacitor in there. That's basically all it is a capacitor and inductor at each end, and it allows you to hook your RF in to coax connector, hook your DC, like 13 volt DC to your bias T here. You send the voltage over the coax, and at the other end you strip the voltage off, and you take it to a remote device like a remote antenna switch, or in this case, this is a little SGC 237 antenna tuner. So this way I can power the antenna tuner without running power cable up to it. So what we're going to do, we're going to build this. It's a little bit more than that. We're going to use, for instance, I'm going to put, an in and out coax connector on the box. I thought about putting in some terminals like this on both boxes to take the voltage in and out, but I don't think I'm gonna do it. I decided I'll probably just use one of these in each box, and then just give me some little pigtails. Every ham should have hundreds of these around. You got all these wall warts. If you don't have hundreds of these around, you're not saving the right stuff. So look, put the little power deal in there, save some of these up, and look, I'll just plug in here like that for my power, and that'll go to the antenna tuner, and also it'll go to the power supply back at the rig end. What I'm going to do, I'm going to make it a little bit more sophisticated, and what I'm going to do is, well, first of all, instead of one capacitor there, I probably are going to use 3 capacitors paralleled there, and a single inductor. And I'm going to put a switch I'm probably going to put an LED on each box, and I'm going to put a switch where I can turn it on and off. And the reason is, and maybe Brett knows this with the SGC, if you don't get the match you actually want, you can actually power it off and on. It will reset the antenna tuner and it will tune again. So I'm gonna put my little switch on here to turn the power off and on, and I'm gonna put an LED on both boxes. That way I'll know if power's on and if power's getting to the other end. So this is going to be a show project that we will do. I may have it finished by next week. I don't know. But that's going to be a neat little project that we can do for the show. It's something simple. It's simple that anybody can build. You can see it's not many parts to it. And it'll be a fun little project. And what we'll do, I will put it on the spectrum analyzer here, and we'll run a frequency range through it, say from 1 megs to like 70 megs, and we'll see if it has any attenuation at any given point, and how much loss we may have at any particular frequency. I think it's going to be pretty good all the way through. Now we are going to have an inductor and a capacitor in there, so there will be a resonant spot somewhere between those capacitors and that inductor. And if it happens to fall like in one of the ham bands or something, we'll adjust. We'll take some turns off the inductor, or we'll add a capacitor or something, parallel capacitor in there. So we'll get it.
Yeah, one more thing with that power connector. If you don't have those power adapters, and it's so hard to find the male and female that match unless you have taken something apart that was matching. Another thing now, they've got power pole connectors that will make a power pole pair a chassis mount.
Yeah, I thought about the power pole, but they'll for this little project, they would be actually too big and heavy, for this project. So
good if you got it, but power pole is a cheap, viable option, and you can get those chassis mounts at Quicksilver and everybody that's got power poles.
Yeah, Mark says, won't we have to bypass the DC side? Yeah, we'll put a bypass capacitor on there, and we'll bypass it. So they're on a DC end, and we'll have probably a 0.1 or a 0.01 or maybe both from the DC end to ground just to bypass it. We'll do it on both ends. And we'll just see how it works out. And so that's going to be one little project we'll do here over the next week or two. Okay, well, I hope you guys will
That's
enjoy
going to
it.
be fun.
Yeah, people may like it,
Hey,
Yep.
Brett, you got something to say?
Well, yeah. The only thing about the SGC that you're going to lose if you do that, as opposed to going with their special cable, is that you won't get the light that lights up on the smart lock controller that says tuned.
Yeah.
And so you won't be able to tell if it didn't find a match. You won't be able to tell if you use the bias T as opposed to using the extra cable. But you won't have to run an extra cable. So that's
I typically well, first of all, I built that little controller you're talking about. Is real simple. There are diagrams on the internet to build it. Will interface to the SGC, and you're right. When I had it in the truck, I actually had built me one in a little box and had it there in the truck where I could, if I used a tuner in the truck, I could basically reset the antenna or see that the antenna's locked on frequency. But in most cases, for instance, if I go to North Carolina and I take the auto tuner with me, I never take the control cable with me because I look at the SWR meter, and if it goes click 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 and it stops and it's 2.5 to 1, I don't like that, and I'll retune it. So I can tell by the SWR meter basically if it's locked on a good match. So, but yeah, and that may be a project. Now, not many people have the SGC tuner, and it's not being made anymore. I mean, I think they've gone out of business. That would be a good little project to show sometime. Are you going to build the controller?
I actually have built one.
Okay.
What
Cool.
I did was I took an outdoor electrical power box.
Yeah.
And I found a switch which was really nice, which locked into position, which actually was particularly good for controlling the locking where you lock in the tuning, even if you want to make sure that it doesn't retune on you,
Yeah.
and put that all together. Um, the only thing you have to be careful of is you have to make sure that you have in load resistors. I blew out a transistor in my one of my SGC tuners because I didn't put a large enough load resistor in series with one of the LEDs. It drew too much current and it blew out a transistor on the board of the SGC tuner. So I learned my lesson, and
Yeah.
I was more careful the next time when I put together the box.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the box is kind of neat because when you get that lock, that little light comes on, and you say, "Hey, man, got a lock here." And I don't remember. I know mine. When I built had a toggle switch. It may have had a push button. Do you use a push button to reset it, or?
You can use a push button,
Yeah.
or you can use a switch with a lock on it. And I chose the latter because it looked cooler and it
Yeah.
worked better.
Yeah.
The only trick is, for some reason, the whole thing runs on 12 volts, but for some reason, the pull up for the LEDs, what it does is it sends you signals back through the cable by pulling signal wires to ground. And then if you have an LED that's attached to a voltage, it pulls it down, it lights up the LED. Your pull up for the LEDs has to be 9 volts and not 12 volts. And so
Yeah.
you need to have a regulator
Yeah.
inside your smart lock device, and that's what I didn't do at first, and I realized I needed to later.
Yeah. That's interesting. You know, something I realized after 60 years of working in electronics stuff, really never thought about it. And of course, solid state stuff, transistors and LEDs and stuff didn't come out till I got, much later in my career. But anyway, I still had 20 or 30 years with it. I didn't really think about running a LED off AC.
Well, there's a lot of fun things you can do with that. If you
Yeah.
run a two-color LED off of that, you can turn it. And you run it off of AC, it turns yellow. You run it off of just DC in one direction, it's blue, it's red, and the other way, it's green.
Yeah, yeah. If you get those multicolor ones, that's sure. But I didn't think about it. I thought, well, I always need DC there. I need DC, and I realized that you don't need DC. I mean, an LED is just like a diode. It's going to let it conduct one way, and
E
hey,
is the current limiting.
yeah, it connects.
The only thing with running AC into an LED is that it's going to create voltage spikes because it's only running about half the cycle. And so you might get some RF interference if you do that.
That's a possibility. Tom,
Okay.
one thing about the antenna tuner, yes, they don't make the SGC anymore, but I picked up some off of eBay that are small kits that are automatic tuners, and I'm in the process of building and testing those. So
Yeah,
we might look into using one of those for this kind of a project too.
yeah. I tell you, this SGC tuner, and Brett found him one here this last year, but you can't beat it. Now it's only a 100-watt tuner. I've got a 1.5 kilowatt tuner, auto tuner out at the antenna farm, but the SGC here is only 100 watts, which that's all I run when I go, mobile or portable. The 100-watt is fine, and it's really built well. It's pretty much military standards. It looks military. It is really a nice little tuner, and never had any trouble with it. They don't make them anymore, so I think, Brett, the one you found was the one that didn't have the case on it. They sell it, I think, in two different models, one with the case and one without the case.
Yep, that's correct. And the
Yeah.
one with the case, they don't claim it's fully waterproof because they see it's only sealed with this porous foam. So, and you have to mount either one inside another case once you get it out there. So it really doesn't matter which one you get if you can find one.
Yeah, I've taken mine. I've opened mine before, and it actually, I think it had an O-ring in there. It was actually sealed fairly good. I would not want to put it underwater. I think it's probably more water resistant instead of waterproof, if that's a term. But when I do set it up out there, I usually put me up a vertical in a tree, maybe 70, 80-foot piece of wire up to a limb, connect it, and lay 3 or 4 radios out, and just set that tuner right there at the base of a tree. And I'll usually I'll put it in a plastic bag, or I'll get a plastic tub or something and just set over it. And just my 1.5 kilowatt tuner out there, it's under some tubs. Believe me, it's not out in the open for sure.
I got a little fancier with mine. I wanted to
Yeah.
make sure that I didn't get RF feeding back into the tuner. So I took a fuse box panel, or sorry, breaker box panel,
Hmm.
and I mounted that on the pole, and then I put the tuner inside. So I had some metal surrounding it, and then the wires came out and went to the tuner. Sorry, went to the antenna, and so that way I made sure that it wasn't feeding back into itself and causing all sorts of problems.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. Let's see. All right, hey guys. Okay. So
Well, we've got an interesting discussion going on in the chat room
what is
here
that?
about what is the recommended separation between a vertical such as a gap titan,
Yeah.
which is basically a ground mount vertical like the old, by BTV and stuff like that,
Mhm.
and the distance front to a tower. What's the recommended spacing for that?
I think the official answer for that is just whatever you have room for.
That's pretty much was mine. I had up
Yeah.
until
Yeah.
this
Look.
antenna makeover, I had a gap challenger up about, probably 10, 12 feet away from my tower, and I never had any issues between
Guys,
the two.
don't worry about it. Set it up. I wouldn't put them a foot apart. I mean, if you can get them, 10, 15 feet apart, do it. Work it. Have fun with it. Don't worry about it, man. You don't know where that signal. You don't know where that signal's going anyway.
Yeah, but I wanted your guys to chime in too, because
Yeah.
mine's
Yeah. Yeah.
not a theoretical.
Yeah. All right. So let's see what else is going on here. So we've talked about
That was- That was another thing that I did is I got my end fed up that I bought in Orlando. Finally took the 2040 dipole down and put the end fed up. So looking forward to play with that here soon too.
Is that a random MFED, or is it tuned to a particular band?
No, it's a random. It's a 53-foot end fred, and I cannot remember the maker. It's I got it at the Orlando Ham Fest.
All right. Cool. It'll have a 49. I mean, it'll have a 9-to-1 on it.
It's a 49-to-1, I believe.
No, I don't think so. 49-to-1 is for half wave.
Yep.
49-to-1 will be a half wave, and your random link's going to be a 9-to-1.
Yep, and then you either choke it 17 feet down the coax, or you put in a counterpoise that's 17 feet long, and you put a choke right on the.
Yeah, this one does have. I did put a counterpoise on it.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Let's do this. Let's take about a 1-minute break. We'll come back, and we're going to talk about 6-meter antennas we built, putting one up here, and then I want to talk about the chat room. Why we went back to the chat room. We'll get to that in a little while. Got several things going here. Hey guys, don't go away. We'll be right back with you. ICOM's compact IC7100 and the IC5100 D-Star mobiles are road ready and features a dash mountable touchscreen control head with quick and straightforward one-touch operation, keeping you connected whenever you roam. The IC7100 is an HF, VHF, UHF multiband all-mode mobile with an angled control head, a large internal speaker for clear digital audio, and fully covers the HF 50, 144, 430, and 440 megahertz amateur bands. This radio provides 100 watts on HF and 50 megahertz bands, 50 watts on 144 band, and 35 watts on the 430 megahertz band. The IC5100 is a VHF UHF dual band mobile with DV dual watch, Bluetooth, and an integrated GPS receiver. For more information on ICOM radios and locate a dealer, please visit icomamerica.com/amateur. All right, guys, we are back here, and let's see. Okay, what do I got here? Let's see, submit. What is that? Okay. Hey, guys, just real quick, let me make some announcements here about Hamfest and tell you what, man, I'm getting excited. I'm lining up 3 Hamfests that I'm going to in the next 2 months. And We've got the Nashville Hamfest coming up July 20th. Yeah, July 20th. That's the Nashville Hamfest. I've got a flyer, I think, on it here. Let's see. There it is right there. The Greater Nashville Hamfest, Middle Tennessee. We're going over there to that. That'll be July 20th. It's a one day on Saturday. Looks like a pretty good facility. They'll have tailgating outside, and they will have inside spaces there. So if you need more information on that, just Google Nashville Hamfest, and it'll bring this page up here. I haven't heard back from them yet, but I'll let them know we're going to possibly be going there. I did hear back from Shelby today. We've never been to the Shelby one, but let me tell you, this is a pretty big Hamfest. Let me pull it up here and I want to show you something. It reminds me of Dayton at Hara. Yeah, I'm sure it's not as big, but if I can type the right letters here to spell Shelby.
Starts with an S.
Shelby Hamfest. Okay, here we go. Let's look at the Shelby Hamfest here. This is going to be August the 30th, 31st, September 1st. I think they've got some pictures here. Locations. I mean, look at this, Glenn. What does this remind you of? Let me put it on the. What's that remind you of right there, man? Can you
Looks
see
like
that?
Dayton.
Yeah. Doesn't it remind you a little bit of Dayton, kind of, sort of, a little bit?
It's me more of Hera than anything else.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. It reminds me of the O'Hara, man. Let me see if I got some pictures here. So this is the Shelby Hamfest again, and we're going to it. They've contacted me, and they're thanking us, and they're wanting us to get on over there. I think they got a spot for us. They're going to let us park at the front door. They're going to give us tickets. They're going to pat us on the back. All that kind of good stuff when we get there. Now we're not going to webcast this live. I'm just not going to do it. Let's see, brochure, layout. Look at there, man. I hope you can't see the golf carts. Let me see here. There you go. Look at that, man. Hera all over almost.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Hotel, forums. Let's see. I got some forums going. I need to just talk to them. They may want me to do a forum over there. I don't know.
You talk to them, talk for me too.
Are you going to go to Shelby?
I would go if they want me to do a forum.
Okay, and look at this. Even on Sunday, they even have Sunday school. This is a big deal, man.
Yeah.
It's a big deal over there.
Shelby for years and just never made it on my radar.
Yeah, I mean, I've never made it either. It's a long ways, Glenn. It's a long way. Now, our home over there, we'll go over and stay at our house, and it's then from there, that's in Tuckasegee, North Carolina. Then we've got another 130 miles to go to get to Shelby. It's 130 miles further east. So, yeah.
Yeah, but around that time of year, I'd be looking for well, that's 2 weeks after Huntsville.
Right, and what I'm going to do is go to Huntsville. From Huntsville, we're going to leave there, and we're going to go to North Carolina, to our home there, and we'll spend about a week and a half there, and from there we'll go to Shelby. So I'm going to be on the road with Hamfest for about 2 or 3 weeks here. So that's going to kind of hamper the programs, our weekly program a little bit. We'll come on remotely with a show with you guys, and it won't be anything big or great, but Mike can show some pictures. And I thought for sure I had some pictures here.
Yeah, I might look into flying to that one.
You might fly? Yeah.
Might fly.
You can fly into Charlotte, North Carolina. Charlotte is close to there. Let's see, tickets, talk in, the testing.
They probably already got their forum set for this year.
They probably do. Flea market spaces. I mean, I don't know, man. It has that feeling. It has that feeling, man.
What's the URL for that?
ShelbyHamfest.com. ShelbyHamfest.com. Golf carts, accommodations. Okay. Well, you can see the picture. That's the main picture I want to show you guys is right there, man. I mean, that is it. That is it.
Tickets are only $10. That's
Yeah.
not all.
Yeah. So look at there. It's just west of Dallas. You see Dallas
Kind of
right?
wrong directions.
You see Dallas right there with a mouse?
Yeah, I'm only showing 2 forums, by the way.
Yeah. So there's Charlotte. You can see Charlotte is pretty close to the east there. You could probably fly into Charlotte and get over pretty easy, Okay. Well, anyway, hey guys, so there it is. That is going to be the let's see. Let's go back here. That's the Shelby. It's going to be the 30th, 31st, and September 1st, August the 30th. So that's going to be a good one, I think, guys. And my philosophy from this point is to focus on our weekly show. And I'm going to try to go to some of these Hamfests and enjoy them. I'm going to walk around. I'll get some video. I'll talk to people. And I might buy a few things, but I'm going to have fun. So that's the Shelby. And there's the Nashville coming up. And then we've got Huntsville coming up. Let me put Huntsville on here. This is a great one too, man. This is my favorite actually, is this one right here. The Huntsville Hamfest. We're only a couple months away from this one. A couple months, Glenn. That's only like a little more than 8 weeks.
I know. I got to get a new forum put together for that one.
I mean, 7 times 8, that's 56 days, man. I don't know how many hours and seconds it is, but it's this is a good one. This is a good one, man. I love it. I've already talked with Mark Brown, the chairman there, and he's looking forward for us getting over there. All right.
Yeah, I talked to Mark at Dayton.
Yeah.
Like I say, I am hoping to have an all-new forum put together for Huntsville this year. I love doing my new forum there.
All right.
So,
all right. Let's
got
change.
56 days to get stuff built.
Yeah. All right. Let's change the subject here. I don't know if this is going to be a controversial subject or not. Let me ask the chat room. And I don't care what you answer, because I know what I like best, and since it's mine, I know what I'm going to use. So, what do you like best? Do you like this chat room we're in now, or did you like the YouTube chat room? Tell me what you liked best. Now, I want to talk a little about why we came back here. First of all, the reason we left a week or two ago was that YouTube blocked our embedding of our channel onto the W5KUB website, and if we weren't on our web page, and you wanted to get in a chat room, you couldn't watch the video unless you're a smart IT guy and you know how to open 2 different windows. And if you open 2 different windows, I think we just lost Glenn. If you open 2 windows, then that's great. If you got 2 monitors, that's even better. Man, you can have a chat room on one monitor, a video on the other. But if you can open 2 different browsers or 2 different windows there, you could actually size them, half screen for the video and half screen for the chat room. And if you don't let them overlap, you could type on one and not affect the other. Now, if you let them overlap and you type on one, it might knock the other one back out. So I was trying to make it easy for everybody. The easiest way is just to go to W5KUB and watch the embedded stream, and the chat room is there, and you got both. Now, okay, let's talk about it. So one of the things is I'm furnishing you guys a web-based client, which means you don't have to have a IRC client. You just click on a link and you're in the room. and it's kind of basic. It didn't have a lot of things, but it's got all you need. If you click on the little man up here at the top, it'll show you how many people are actually, well, you know, on YouTube, I think you had to click on a little man. I think, I don't know. Anyway, let me get back on track here. So, for instance, this chat room, I can do a private chat with anybody. If like Don, WA4YYN, if I wanted to say something to Don, I could click on him and I could private chat with Don and you guys wouldn't see it. Google has turned off private chat, so you can't private chat. My understanding is, and I kept Google searching this, you can't private chat on Google anymore. All right. This IRC chat room we've got, especially using the client like I use HexChat. There's several things out there. But we have a lot more control, administrative and moderator control. Like right now, I can see all the people that are logged into the room. I can scroll down and see everybody's name. I can click on your name and I can see your IP address. And for you guys that followed the show here last couple of years, if you remember, we were swatted and the SWAT team came here because we were swatted one night. They were looking for these guys for years, and we were able, with our chat room, we were able to furnish IP addresses not only from the chat room, but also from our website. And they were able to put stuff together, and they found the guys, and they went and arrested them in Wales. I guess that's over in the UK. Is Wales part of the UK? I think it is, yeah. So they arrested them.
Wales is part of the UK.
Yeah, they arrested them, and they'd been looking for them. The FBI told me 58 agencies in the country had been looking for these guys for a year or two. And basically, the information we were able to provide them, we provided them a lot of logs that night, both our website logs and our chat room logs. They were able to actually find the people, even although they were using a VPN type connection. We helped them. We were the needle that broke the camel's back. So I can see your email. I can see your IP address. I've got a lot of different things I can do. I can kick you. Glenn's back in here. Let me get Glenn back in. So I can kick you. I can ban you. I can do a lot of things. Let me pull up one of the things that I can do here. I want to show you the difference here. I think I got it right here. Maybe not. Okay, I don't have it here. So what I wanted to tell you was, I have a lot of different options. I can ban your ID. I can ban your entire domain. I can ban your host name. I can do a lot of things on YouTube. I could put you in a timeout, basically. That's what I could do on YouTube. So it gives us a lot more things. Now, and here's another thing. I like to have a record of our chat room. And like, I'm sure, Brett, your chat client probably has a log, maybe, I don't know. But my HexChat has a log where I can log everything that's said in the chat room. Now, here's the deal. You might say, well, you can play your video back on YouTube and you can watch the chat room. You have a log there. That's not totally true. If I edit 1 second of that video, if I edit 1 second of YouTube video, they delete the chat room. And I don't know why. I guess it's because it's not synced or something. But as you guys know, we usually run a lot of music in the front. And I usually delete 30 minutes of music off the front of all our videos on our channel. So on YouTube, if I edit one song off, or if I edit 1 second off, I lose the chat room. Here I have a complete, log of everything. So I have all the chat logs. Let's talk about Hambot a minute. Hambot has been in a development stage, and that was developed in-house here. We didn't go out and buy it. It was developed here. We started off very small with it, and we kept growing it and growing it and growing it. Hambot has about 8 years of software development in-house, and it's made to work on IRC. So if we were on any different IRC, and you guys know we were on We were on a different IRC prior to this one. But if we have to change to a different IRC, Hambot works fine. All we have to do is just change the IRC name in Hambot, and it'll work. Hambot won't work on YouTube. You might have noticed when we were trying to give prizes away to you guys, and we hope to start giving away a prize every week to people on the show. We're going to start working on that. If we want to give a prize away, Hambot picks from our chat room. Now, on YouTube, all the chat room names go away if they're not active, and that's the reason we have to ask everybody, hit a period, hit an enter, do something, repopulate the chat room every time, and then you can see everybody coming back in, and then we pick a name. Well, 5 minutes later, all those names are off there. They're gone. YouTube's deleted them. And guess what? Most of the YouTube names are not ham radio calls. We cannot tell if a person was a ham radio operator or not a ham radio operator. You know, you had crazy names out there, and some of our vendors designated that we want this prize to go to a licensed amateur only. So that made it difficult to pick. Hambot also, keeps the chat log, and he keeps the database of all the prizes. Hambot knows if the prize is for international or domestic. Hambot then picks the international or domestic. Hambot interfaces with the databases to pull your call and address and where you are. Hambot watches to see if you answer. Where we don't even have to watch the chat room. Hambot sees if you answer. So there's a lot going on with Hambot and a lot going on with the chat room there. So that's some of the reasons that we've gone back, and I like this chat room much better. We're going to try to stick with it here. I wanted to really keep it simple for people. Video one side, chat room the other side, and I thought, okay, if we go to YouTube, it's still pretty much video here and chat room here. And that just was very easy for me to point it to the YouTube page or point it to our page. So it was a simple thing to switch it. But since we are able to embed again and get it back, hopefully, Glenn came back. Hopefully, since both
do I have audio?
Yeah, you do.
Cool. Okay.
You do. Your hair looks different, man. What do? You go wash your hair or something?
Yeah, no, I took my headphones off because when you were
Oh.
talking about throwing people out of chat rooms and stuff,
Yeah.
you neglected to mention that you also have the ability to lock up anybody with a Windows 7 system.
Oh, that's true too.
Yeah.
That's true.
So I switched over to the other computer here, and the lighting's different,
Yeah.
and the headphones aren't over here.
Yeah. All right. So, hey guys, that's kind of the reason we went back to it. To me, they're both very similar. If we point you to the YouTube page, you see YouTube plus chat on the side, or if you go to our page, you see our video YouTube, and you see our chat room. So basically, they're laid out almost identical. There's a lot of reasons for sticking with this one, and I want to do it. And so let's see. Okay. All right. Let's talk a little about. Hey, the VHF contest is coming up here in a couple weeks, I think, Glenn.
Yeah, I don't
somewhere
have the
soon.
exact date, but soon. That was one reason I wanted to get my antennas all squared
Yeah.
away.
So I've got a MFJ tri-band antenna out there, 6, 2, and 440.
Is that the vertical or the beam?
It's a vertical,
Okay.
fiberglass vertical, but I don't know. For some reason, I just didn't like the looks of it. I don't know. I've got that 6-meter copper J-pole I built. That sucker's like 13 feet tall. It ought to have
Those are pretty, though.
It ought to have great pickup capability. That's a 3/4 wave over a quarter wave.
Yeah.
And I decided, though, to build the coax vertical dipole. That's what I put up. For one thing, I can't even see it up there. When I pull that sucker up there, I can't even find it. It's up there somewhere. It's invisible. Neighbors can't complain. So let me show you what what I've got here. Let me see. Here I am out in the shop, and I just put it together and I put it on a meter. I pulled it up with the winch to check it. Let's see if we can see this. Glenn, you guys aren't going to hear audio on the on Zoom, but it's on the show. So here we go. Okay, I think I've about got this thing the best I can. Let's go up. Let's go up with it. And oh, wrong way. All right, we got it. We got it pretty much standing up straight here. Here's the ballon. We go up, and we go all the way up to the ceiling. All right, let's see what it looks like on the Comet CA500 here. Well, at 52, I wanted to cut it for around 52 because I plan on working both the low end and the high end. All the repeaters are in the high end. So we're going to try it right here. But let's just take a look at this. And so 2 to 1, it looks like we're going down to about 50. Yeah, down almost to the end of the band, 50.2. It's still workable down there. Let's go the other way. Let's see if we can go up. 2 to 1 here, we're going up to about 53.5. So that's very good.
It's actually a pretty good match
here,
here, like 1 to 1, man, at 50 ohms.
Looks like it's centered at. Looks like it's centered at 52.2, which is okay. That's right in the middle of the band there. So we've got about, let's see.
Or center fed or a double bazooka?
We're showing,
that's just a halfway vertical.
Resistance, about 4 ohms of reactance.
It's a halfway vertical with the.
There you go. Let's see if I can
the
get
coax stripped off the top quarter wave, and then the bottom quarter wave goes down. It uses a shield down to the ballon.
That's probably a pretty good match right there.
Okay.
So
that's your typical. Let's see, I got a picture of it here. That's your typical. That's your typical coax halfway vertical right there, which makes it real simple. I built it out of a RG58. Of course, I ran KMR 400 up to it and screwed it on.
Now, is that a loading coil or a choke at the bottom?
The choke here. What's your question?
So there's a choke at the bottom.
Yeah, that's a choke. Yeah, if you don't put that choke there, you don't have a quarter wave. In other words, it stops that quarter wave. You see your quarter wave top half, that's the center conductor, and then you need a quarter wave at the bottom half for a half wave dipole. So if you don't put that choke there, you don't have a half wave. You got a quarter wave at the top and who knows what, at the bottom half. All right, so I've got a couple pictures here where I took it outside. Let me see. Okay. Here I am. I think I'm pulling it up to. Let's see what. Well, let's look at this. I measured it after I put it in a tree out there. First, the measurement you saw was at almost ground level, so it changed on me. It went up to be almost a perfect match, but it went up to almost 53 megahertz, which is still okay. All right, here we go. Let's see. That's not what I wanted. Okay, anyway, all right. So I'll just show the pictures. So there it again, out in the shop, we're just basically testing it, basically at ground level. You can see I had to adjust the coax, the quarter wave coax at the bottom half. It was actually too short.
So what I did there, I soldered some additional coax shield back on the shield there to extend it up a little bit, and I needed to do that to get a better match there. Let's see, really can't see it there, but it's going up to the winch up there. It's just hanging there by the table. Here's how I put the antenna on the rope. The rope goes up over a tree limb about 60 feet in the air, and it comes down. And I just tied the two ends together. So basically, I've got a loop of a piece of rope is a loop. So if I turn loose on one end, I don't lose the end of the rope. It doesn't go up in the air and I lose it. So I just got the rope tied together. So here's how I put the antenna on the rope. I just took some tie wraps and just tie wrapped the antenna on the rope. There's the balun at the bottom. There's another shot of it right there. You can see the tie wraps are just holding it on the rope. And then I just pulled the rope up, and this whole thing went up. It went up vertically, and I pulled the top of the antenna up to about a 60-foot limb that's in the tree out there. Now, yeah, I got limbs around it. I got leaves around it. But guess what? If you put an antenna in your backyard and you got trees around your house, you're still going to get that somewhat attenuation. And yeah, I probably have some attenuation, but I'm not worried about it. Here's how the only thing the coax or the hardline is the heaviest, and the KMR 400. What I did was I took a piece of a hydraulic hose and put it around the coax and around the rope, and I put a couple clamps on there, and that allowed me to pull the rope up, and it pulled the coax. And you take 80 to 100 foot of coax, it's going to weigh probably 15 pounds. So I had to have some way to fasten it to my rope, and that's the easiest way that I found to put it up there. Got me a little top point on the tree right there that my rope comes through. It's just like a pulley. I pull it real tight, and the antenna goes up. There's a shot from a little distance, a tree. We were way up there. My house is a 2-story house, and I've got a pretty high roof on it. And that was way up there. I measured the rope that went up there. The antenna's up about 60 feet. It's about 60 feet up there. How do I come in my shack? My shack is right about near that tree. And I just got an LB there at my shack, and I cut through the brick, and that actually that PVC pipe actually comes out under my ham radio desk. You can see the little gold-colored coax there going through the brick up there. My conduit's pretty full, so I just ran that some very, very high-quality, low-loss cable just through the top there, through the brick into the shack there. Let's see. Outside there, I did want to try, since I'm up, pretty high out there, I did want to try to get some ground to it. I've got multiple grounds around. My antenna farm is actually 130 feet back behind the house. And I've got multiple ground rods and buried radios back there. But here at the entrance where it all comes back and goes into the shack, this is another ground here. And just for a little bit of safety, I grounded the KMR 400 here, just with a hose clamp and a heavy wire to that ground rod there. Again, once that coax goes into the shack there, it hits another grounding bonding area there. So that's kind of what I did to get the 6 meter going. Thought I had another video, but I don't guess I do. It ended up resonating around 53 megahertz, and and a little high, but it was still 2-to-1 for the entire band. So I'm not too worried about it. I can go out there very easily and just lower the rope. The antenna will slide right down. I can add about 2 inches to the antenna and just pull it right back up. So that's pretty much how we did our 6 meters there. All right, what do you got going here, Brett? Anything?
Well, I was just changing. If you probably saw me,
I did.
My image changing. Yes, I was replacing the power supply on my laptop because.
Okay. I thought maybe you had something there to talk about a compare with the antenna we just put up there. So we're going to try that for the VHF contest. That's coming up. I don't have it in front of me, but I think that's coming up in the next 10 days maybe. I think it's the second week in June, if I'm not mistaken. So just be sure and check Google for when is the VHF contest. A lot of my friends here from Memphis, they go over to my home away from home, Russellville, Arkansas, where I went to college, and we have there's a mountain over there called Mount Nebo. Now it's not a big mountain like Brett might call a mountain. You might call this a hill, but it's 2,000 feet, which is pretty substantial. And it's a big plateau. It's flat on top. It's a 2,000-foot mountain. It's flat on top. There are cabins on top, and the guys go over there and they rent a cabin and put antennas up, and they operate VHF from over there at the 2,000-foot level. And that's pretty good. You know, it's about 200 miles from here over there. I'm gonna see if I can't work them.
Well, hey, Tom,
Yeah.
you better hurry up and get ready because I just looked and the date is this coming weekend, June 8th through 10th.
Okay. That will be the second weekend in June.
The second full weekend in June.
Right.
8th through 10th.
Okay, that's this weekend. Thank you for checking on that. And I will be on the air. I'm gonna try to make.
I'm going to try to get
guys,
my
right now, if you listen on 6 meters, you say it's dead. It's
dead.
It's not dead. There's just nobody on it. I tell you what, this coming weekend, that thing will be full of people talking.
Famous
full.
field day.
Yeah, it will be
Peters
full.
lights up on field day.
Yeah, it'll be full. All right.
I'm going to get my stuff hooked up too.
All right. So, hey, we've talked about several things tonight. I hope something was of interest to you. Let's see. 6 meters, Terry said he's not ventured into it. 6 meters is called the magic band. That's because it has characteristics that are VHF, but also it has some characteristics of HF. And a number of years ago, people were actually making better contacts between the U.S. and Europe than they were on HF. And they were clear. I worked a lot of 6 meters AM back in the early 1960s, and oh man, it sounded like a 2 meter repeater in town here.
I'm surprised people kind of dropped away from 6 meters because it's always been one of my favorite bands.
Now, my friends down at Corinth have a 6 meter repeater down there. I tried to see if I could hit the 6 meter repeater, but so far, no luck. Now, that may be a stretch with my antenna. It's probably, how far is it to Corinth? It's probably what, 90
miles?
90 miles maybe. That might be a stretch. I don't know.
Yeah, well, 6 meter ground wave isn't much different than HF, so you're only going to get 30, 35 miles.
Yeah.
You know, when you add the repeater height into that. So Corinth would be a stretch unless you had a temperature inversion or some kind of.
If there were real good conditions, I could probably do it. Maybe, and if I had a beam up that high, I might could do it. I don't know.
Well, I've got one up 40 feet, so I'm going to give it a shot once I get everything put together.
All right, that's good.
Yeah.
All right.
6 meters is funny band. I wish that more HF rigs supported it, but some of the older ones just don't. And I think that might partially be because it used to interfere with TV a lot.
Yes.
Yeah. And back when I was on in the AM days in the 60s, let me tell you something. It was bad because here's the deal. We live 40 miles away from Memphis, so your TV signals are weak. You have an outside antenna. Okay, your TV signal's a weak anyway, and 6 meters. It was 50 megahertz. Channel 2 on TV was somewhere around what 50 something. I don't know. Anyway, they were so close. And here's the deal: back then, we didn't know how lucky we are now. No cable back then. See, if you had a cable, that's a closed system, and you bring in a very strong signal on a closed system to your TV, and the likelihood of getting RF interference in your TV is very much more minimal. But back then you had the 300 ohm twin lead. It went up to the antenna, and a guy half a block down the street running 100, 200 watts on 6 meters. Usually you could get into a TV pretty good.
But
And,
we were also using, tubes. We didn't have tuners, but the tubes were much more forgiving than solid state stuff at the time.
Yeah.
So, who cares if we were mismatched and throwing out harmonics and stuff?
So the solution is a low pass filter. Look at this.
Yep.
There's your low pass filter. You put that on your radio,
We all had those back in the day.
and that's supposed to help you not mess up. But you know what? This was not. I think this only went up to 30 megs, right? This is like 3 to 30 meg. This don't filter
It
out.
might have helped you.
This doesn't filter out the 6 meter trash that we were putting out.
Well, I mean, if channel 2's at 50 meg and we're at 50 meg,
Yeah.
Let's get real. No low pass filter is going to save you.
Well, the problem really was that the tuners on the TVs weren't that good. So even if you filtered your signal and you were in the band, and your skirts, your out of band were low, the TV would pick it up anyway. So
Exactly.
it wasn't necessarily your fault.
Yeah.
Very much so.
All right. Glenn, are anybody watching this on W5KUB? I'm looking at the YouTube date.
I was until my system froze up, and on this one I'm single monitor, limited resources.
I'm looking at the YouTube dashboard, and it says we've been on 1 hour and 48 minutes, and it was showing me the bias T diagram. I don't know why I was showing that, but yeah, obviously it's working. So, yeah. Well, we got Bill in here, W8ELK 52525. Yeah, I'm gonna make some calls on 52525 and just see if I can round somebody up that will, come in and talk to me there. But 6 meters is cool.
Yeah, YouTube's looking fun.
Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. Well, hey, let me just make a quick announcement here. You've been listening to the show on WBCQ on 7490 shortwave station out of Monticello, Maine. We're glad that you joined us, and if you can, send us an email to Tom at w5kub.com. Tom at w5kub.com. And let us know where you're hearing it, where you are, and how you're hearing the station. Also, join our Facebook group, just W5KUB. It's a ham radio Facebook group. It's not my personal group. Join that. You'll have a lot of fun there with it. Just search for W5KUB. If you will, hit the subscribe button right there. Your subscribe button should be right about there where I'm pointing. And hit that subscribe button. That will help YouTube to advertise our show to more people. All right, we've got about 5 minutes before sign off. Brett and Glenn, what else can we talk about? Anything?
No, I'm pretty much done. Like I say, I'm going to be firing up the lab and stuff starting this week, and going to start creating some cool things. I've got a whole list of things I want to do, and as you can see, the monster behind me.
Yeah,
If I get
yeah.
out of the way, we're trying to think about getting him to a cat show here at the end of the month.
All right.
So I may end up going to Huntsville in June for a cat show.
All right. Well, good luck with that.
And we'll see. But you can see he's just really all uptight and upset about it.
All right. James in the chat room a couple of them going to go to Fair Radio Sales. You know, they're closing down Fair Radio Sales. They're going to close the doors on June 28th. Man, I wish it was closer. I'd love to go up there and go through that stuff. I'd want to buy everything in there. I'd want to buy everything in there. I'd need a 40-foot.
That's my problem. We'd need trailers.
Yeah, I need a 40-foot transport truck to bring it back, man.
Well, MFJ's got one they're not using anymore.
Well, I would need a bigger one than that. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, Bill said he dropped by Fair a few months ago, found some great deals. I wish we had something like that close by. We just don't have it, man.
No, the closest thing to us would be like Chat Radio over in Chattanooga, and that's still across the state.
And you know, back in the olden days, this surplus stuff, especially the military surplus stuff, was so good for hams to get their hands on because we built a lot of our stuff and we converted a lot of the stuff to the ham frequencies, and that was an easy and a cheap way to get on, you know.
Well, plus we had tons of stores. I mean, in Birmingham, we had Long's Electronics and, you know, we had Radio Shack and several parts places to choose from. You know, now it's few and far between.
Yep.
Yeah, I still remember when I used to look through the catalogs. I would read the catalogs of Allied and Lafayette. Remember Lafayette Electronics way back when?
Yeah, we had one in Miami.
Yep. And back when Radio Shack, when some of the employees there were hams and could give you all sorts of cool tips.
Yeah, I miss those days.
Trying to catch up on
Olson Electronics, all those places.
Yeah. Bill's talking about tubes. He wished he'd kept some tubes. I told you guys once before, when I moved 30 years ago, I moved from one house to another house. We built a house, and up in my attic I had a lot of tubes. I'm a pack rat. Of course, I grew up in a radio and TV shop and with my uncle, and I threw away probably 1,000 tubes.
Yeah,
right
God knows how many tubes.
I had them stacked, and they were in tube boxes. You know, they were in a regular tube box. You know, they weren't all new, but they were all good, pretty much good. And man, oh man.
Yep, those were the days.
Yep.
Yeah, you still find them at Hamfest, but like you say, how many of them have we thrown away over the years?
Yeah. Well, I got to think what I'm going to do with this All-American 5 I got here. Maybe I'll convert it back to normal. You know, we only made 6 little mods. Maybe I just take those mods out, put it back to normal, and I don't know, maybe sell it for a couple $100.
Yep, sell it at a Hamfest, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Somebody will buy it, and you've got a minimal investment in it.
Yeah.
So you can get your money back out of it.
Yep. All right. Well, hey, I'm excited. We'll be at the Huntsville. We're going to be at the Nashville Hamfest. We're going to be. Man, it's a long ways. That's further than Dayton. That's like 630 miles from here, man. That's a long way. We're going to be there.
I was looking at the distances and stuff and flights, and that's when my computer locked up. So I guess it's telling me I can't go.
It is so far your computer locked up, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you know, I might, you know, we never really marketed this product here. We might want to take that over and start, you know. I think a lot of people would like that.
Yeah, we need to start financing these trips.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking into going to Huntsville again.
Are you?
Yeah, I'll see if I can go up to Montesano again.
Yeah.
That was really cool. They have this gigantic POTA camp out where, you know, practically every campsite has a ham doing something interesting.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we've decided we will not be live webcasting Huntsville. I'm not even going to get a booth this year. I'm going to walk around. I'm going to enjoy it. I may buy me a couple Collins rigs. I don't know.
Who knows?
I may do that, you know. The hotel's going to be connected by a walkway, and hey, if I buy something, I can just take it to the hotel. But I'm sure I'll have plenty of friends there that if I need to stick something under somebody's table, I'll be able to do it. I would imagine even my buddies there on the stage would allow me to put something there behind the stage, behind the curtain.
I'm sure we can find somebody somewhere to put stuff.
And when it comes to prize time, the big prizes, Glenn, you and I, we can stand right out there right in the front, real close this time. And I'll
help you carry your prizes back.
Yeah, thank you. I was trying to think of a nice way to say
A polite way to say I'm not winning, yes.
Yeah, nice way. Okay.
But hey, I did pretty good myself at Hamfest for the first part of this year, so no, I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
So are you gonna
All right.
magic?
All right, guys. I'm gonna say what, Brett? You're muted.
Are you going to magically fold several hundred tickets?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we do our secret folds back in the hotel room. I'm afraid somebody will watch. And actually, we hire a security guard to stand outside the door while we do that.
And yet he still accuses me of copying his method.
Well, it was pretty close, man.
Yeah, it was close, but obviously, as you can tell, it's not quite the real thing.
Yeah. All right. We've signed off, guys. Hey, everybody in the chat room, thanks for being with us tonight. We really enjoyed having you with us tonight. And you're probably right, John. You're probably right there. All right. Hey, I have not heard from Jim this week or last week. I sent Jim an email. You know, Jim is pretty bad off with his leukemia. I'm not even sure that he was okay. A secret ceremony, blood. Okay. I'm not even sure how Jim's doing. I haven't heard back from him. We'll try to find out. Somebody else had some surgery last week. It was in the chat room here. I forget that was.
He had that was Terry. He had the cataract surgery.
No, it was the N7. He's a regular on here. My mind is leaving me, man. My mind's leaving me. He was going to have golf. He was going to have
that XGR.
Yeah, N7.
That's what.
Greg. He's not in here tonight, I don't think. He's probably recuperating. All right. Good night, everybody. Hey, man, we enjoyed having you. We had fun tonight. Thanks for tuning in and being with us. 73, good night. We'll see you.